Tune into Nice Radio every Saturday at 7:30 a.m. for A View from the Outside, hosted by Brereton Horne. A View from the Outside takes a look at key issues affecting St Vincent and the Grenadines and gives a global perspective on how these issues are viewed. Host Brereton Horne will examine a variety of topics to enlighten, stimulate debate, and explore solutions. Hear the facts, hear the real-life stories, hear A View from the Outside. Join Brereton Horne at 7:30 a.m. every Saturday on Nice Radio for A View from the Outside.
This society needs a spectacle. It might help us to see some evil. This society needs a spectacle.
On A View from the Outside this week being the 29th of October 2022, we look at spectacle. S-P-E-C-T-A-C-L-E, spectacle. And we do so bearing in mind the recently concluded independence celebrations, both at home in St Vincent and the Grenadines, as well as in the Vincentian diaspora, especially in North America, marking the 43rd anniversary of the independence of St Vincent and the Grenadines. The Cambridge Dictionary defines spectacle as an unusual or unexpected event or situation that attracts attention, interest, or disapproval. That definition tells us that a spectacle is an event which is unusual or unexpected. For example, when the Empire State Building in New York was lit up with the colors of the flag of St. Vincent and the Grenadines on the night of the 27th of October 2022, to mark the 43rd anniversary of the independence of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. That was a spectacle. The definition tells us that a spectacle attracts interest and attention. In the example of the Empire State Building being lit up with the colors of the flag of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, it was evident that many people gathered in person and on social media to witness the event. Many people did not know what to expect, so the interest was generated there. Another example of spectacle attracting interest and attention is that of the dancing police band, which dispensed with tradition during the Independence Parade at Victoria Park and danced away. The definition also tells us that while a spectacle attracts interest and attention, it attracts disapproval. The examples given above have attracted their fair share of disapproval from some. Some, for example, question the possible humongous current and future cost of the spectacle in New York. Taking into account the definition of spectacle, and bearing in mind the spectacle of the Independence Day celebrations, both at home in St. Vincent and the Grenadines and in the Vincentian diaspora, the question is being asked by some, including all of us here on A View from the Outside. After the spectacle of the Independence Day celebrations, what next for the people living at home in St. Vincent and the Grenadines? To answer that question, it may well be that the supplementary questions which follow give valuable pointers. Will the spectacle of the Independence Day celebrations lessen the disquiet and the dissatisfaction of the aggrieved teachers and other public servants who were callously fired from their jobs for having exercised their constitutional and other rights to protect their bodies and not subject themselves to a draconian COVID-19 vaccine mandate? Does the spectacle of the Independence Day celebrations mean that these teachers and other workers are now going to be reinstated? Does the spectacle of the Independence Day celebrations mean that those fired from their jobs, the fired teachers and other workers, does it mean that they will no longer be on the unemployment line? Is there any hope being offered to those fired teachers and other public servants after they have experienced the wrath and the wickedness of the regime? How has the spectacle of the Independence Day celebrations helped in addressing the fears and concerns of current and future pensioners who are fearful of what has been discussed in many quarters as the possible collapse of the NIS pension system in the country? Has the spectacle of the independence celebrations addressed the fact that too many pensioners now have to wait for far too long after retirement to start receiving their pension? Following the spectacle of the Independence Day celebrations, is consideration going to be given to the fact that the rising number of pensioners who, having reached pension age, are dying before they actually start receiving their pension? What is going to be done to address this problem? Following the spectacle of the Independence Day celebrations, is the practice of unwittingly dipping into the NIS pension fund to bail out the government going to stop? How will the economic survival of pensioners be enhanced by the spectacle of the Independence Day celebrations? Following the spectacle of the Independence Day celebrations, what is going to be done to address the rising mental health issues in the country? Has the spectacle of the Independence Day celebrations done anything to help to bring about restoration to Bigger Bigs? Is Bigger Bigs not deserving of enjoying the kind of independence which those in the upper echelons of the ULP and the government enjoy? Especially the ones who conjured up the destruction of his multi-million-dollar business? Has the spectacle of the Independence Day celebrations taken into account the fact that Bigger Big struggles with his health, having recently spent 18 days in hospital as he battles with the regime which mercilessly destroyed his multi-million-dollar business and leave him to languish interminably? Has the spectacle of the Independence Day celebrations helped to soften the heartlessness of those agents and enablers who contributed to destroying the multi-million-dollar business of Bigger Bigs? How has the spectacle of the Independence Day celebrations helped to assuage the damage, mental, financial, and otherwise, done to Marcus de Freitas? Will he now be paid after more than a decade and a half of not paying him? Not paying him for his land, which was compulsorily acquired by the government? Will the government now honor the court order to pay him? Are Dr. Wayne Murray and his wife Simone and family and other dispossessed landowners around the country, including the deceased former Commissioner of Police Randolph Toussaint, helped by the spectacle of the Independence Day celebrations? Has the spectacle of the Independence Day celebrations done anything in helping to address the problems being faced by the Robeca resident, Van Dyke Williams, and the other 33 workers who for more than a decade now are awaiting severance pay and or some other form of compensation after many years of broken promises? He, Van Dyke Williams, spoke to the world of his frustration and his disappointment as he languishes in extreme poverty. How does the spectacle of the Independence Day celebrations help him and the others to alleviate the extreme poverty into which they have been thrown? Has the spectacle of the Independence Day celebrations helped in addressing the extreme poverty which pervades the country? Are Vincentians generally not deserving of living a decent and comfortable life? Has the spectacle of the Independence Day celebrations helped mothers who cannot afford to feed their children? Has the spectacle of the Independence Day celebrations helped those families who cannot afford to send their children to school? Has the spectacle of the Independence Day celebrations done anything to assist those who cannot afford to pay their light bills and their water bills? Has the spectacle of the Independence Day celebrations done anything for the neglected and dilapidated infrastructure in the country? Has the spectacle of the Independence Day celebrations addressed road repairs? Has the spectacle of the Independence Day celebrations helped with the poor state of health care which exists in the country? Will the spectacle of the Independence Day celebrations help in improving health care in the country so that those in the echelons of the party and the government and their families use local facilities and not fly out for better treatment elsewhere? How has the spectacle of the Independence Day celebrations helped the market vendors who felt the wrath of the regime when they were mercilessly thrown out of the vegetable market in Kingstown, seemingly without any regard for their personal and other possessions? Will the spectacle of the Independence Day celebration help in addressing the dramatic increase in violent crimes, including murder, in the country? Has the spectacle of the Independence Day celebrations helped to tackle the number of unsolved murders in the country? Has the spectacle of the Independence Day celebrations helped to address the number of people who go missing without a trace in St Vincent and the Grenadines? Has it done anything to bring comfort to the families, relatives, and friends of those who have gone missing? What has the spectacle of the Independence Day celebrations done to address injustice and blatant as well as subtle victimization inflicted on those who are deemed less worthy because they are seen not to be supporters of the regime? Is nothing going to be done to heal the wounds of the people? Has the spectacle of the Independence Day celebrations done anything to address that? There are so many more questions, some of which no doubt are going through your own head right now. We, here on A View from the Outside, urge you to continue to ask the questions. Ask those questions. Do so at every possible opportunity. Ask the question: has the spectacle of the Independence Day celebrations helped Vincentians? As you ask the questions, as you ask that specific question, give some thought to the writings of two university professors, Sue Winton and another, who encouraged us all, especially grassroots people, grassroots organizations, to, quote, always challenge a political spectacle, unquote. Until next week, this is Brereton Horne with A View from the Outside, with a reminder to send your feedback as usual to aviewfromtheoutside@hotmail.com. You can also get us on Facebook at A View from the Outside and on YouTube at JMB Horne. Have a pleasant Saturday, a wonderful Sunday, and a productive week ahead, with everyone asking the question: how has the spectacle of the Independence Day celebrations helped St Vincent and the Grenadines and Vincentians?